Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Ringling Brothers Circus, a company orchestra, and this week I got a banana. Welcome back to another episode of Fridays in Focus with Zach Dempsey. Cool. So, hope you enjoyed last week's drawing challenge episode. I know I did. It was a lot of fun to film, and I hope you had a lot of fun watching it. But this week, we are going to do something new. And what that new thing is, not sure what we're naming it, maybe like Dumb History of the World, something like that. Basically, me and Zach went on and we found a couple articles that, well, history articles, that were just, you looked at them and you read them and you were like, really, guys? Like, really? Okay, so as I was saying, these are going to happen every once in a while. Not really sure what we're going to call it, but yeah, enough of my blabbering. Let's get into it. Zach, do you want to go ahead and read the first article?
Sure.
All right, here it is.
Wartime doesn't mean sacrificing tea time. The British are notorious for their love of tea. The UK Tea Council estimates that 2/3 of British citizens drink at least 1 cup of tea every day. Britain is the second largest tea-drinking nation per capita after the Republic of Ireland. This has been fairly evident since the 1700s when the Boston Tea Party took place. Further evidence of the UK's love of tea came at the end of the Second World War. Since 1945, British tanks have featured a tea-making apparatus as a permanent installation. Now, British soldiers can serve tea and their country at the same time.
Alright, Zach, so, like, really? I mean, like, putting, what tea dispensers,
Yes.
something like that, in British tanks.
Yeah, so...
It's interesting, like, you'd think if they were on the battlefield, I mean, maybe if they're not, like, actively engaged in something, I could see them stopping and having a cup of tea, but is it like, okay, guys,
No, there's a specifically designated specifically a small boy.
like the drummer boy?
Yeah, little drummer boy,
Okay.
but we call him Little Toot Toot?
Little
Little Toot, because he stands out in the middle of the field with a trumpet.
Okay.
And exactly 9:30. Everyone has to stop, break out the crumpets, and just have a nice cup of tea.
And we have tea out of the tea dispensers in the tanks.
The handy dandy tea dispenser.
Right? So, tea dispensers in British tanks. You know what? That is like, I feel like here in America, we should have cheeseburger dispensers.
Dude,
in
do you
tanks.
know how badly
I would enlist like that.
Where's the website? Sign me up right now. I want
Let's go. Well, unfortunately, we talked to
No
the president.
cheeseburgers.
Yeah, he vetoed our idea, sent it to Congress, all that. They said it would be fattening and unhealthy.
And go against the food safety plan.
I know. I mean, okay, so one, hand grenade slips into your cheeseburger. I mean, it's bound to happen, but speaking of live ammunition,
Oh, boy.
here is our second dumb history story.
Let's just call it a story.
A story. Here's our next little bit of history.
This one's a whopper.
World War II Navy crew pledges to serve and embarrass. The USS William D. Porter was a World War II-era destroyer vessel whose crew proved about as competent as the Three Stooges. Its first escort mission in 1943 was to accompany the USS Iowa to Iran. The Iowa was carrying President Franklin D. Roosevelt, his Secretary of State, and several high-ranking politicians to a meeting with Churchill and Stalin. Mere days later, the crew somehow forgot to replace live depth charges with dummy charges for a training exercise. On November 12th, a fully operational charge rolled off the deck and fell into the Atlantic and exploded. The crew assumed they were under attack. Naturally, the captain and his crew felt a little nervous, even after the confusion was sorted out. So the ship's captain initiated a training exercise involving the Porter firing dummy torpedoes on the Iowa. On the third volley, the Porter's crew realized they had just fired a live torpedo at the President of the United States. Luckily, the Iowa was able to make a quick turn, and the torpedo missed the boat. The Porter came to its end during the Battle of Okinawa in 1945 when a kamikaze plane exploded in the water underneath it. Like,
So, Jim.
as if tea dispensers and tanks were interesting enough, firing a live torpedo at the President of the United States ship.
Well,
Like, guys.
there's a few things wrong with this. First of all, how do you forget to swap out, the live rounds that could potentially destroy all of the property? Not to mention the president.
Yeah.
I can't imagine live rounds and dummy rounds look that different, though.
I know. I don't know, like, what they look like or the difference or anything, but I feel like they would be, like, clearly different.
We should investigate that after
We
this.
should. Or possibly it may have been because, like, for example, if the real one's a ball, like, say, a red ball, and then you've got a gray ball is the dummy one, I feel like they wouldn't waste the gray ball putting it in. I feel like it would just be a matter of taking the red ball out, maybe, like
Yeah.
to like phrase it like that, and like they forgot to take it out. But like, okay, first of all, one of them rolls off the deck. Why aren't these things strapped down in a cargo hold? Like, one of them rolls off the deck of the ship and you think you're being attacked.
Yeah.
Second of all,
There's nobody around.
I know,
Not to mention,
I know.
Well, probably nobody around.
yeah, true.
If you were being attacked, you'd be able to see the other people. But they didn't just look over and go, that's not an enemy ship. They're not even facing our direction.
Yeah,
They
like,
didn't
guys,
fire at us.
right?
Who is not strapping
Yeah.
down the live rounds?
Yeah, like
You
when
had
it-
one job.
Yeah, exactly. And like now, I mean, in my opinion, initiating a training exercise because of it, in my opinion, that was a good idea. Prepare them in case further prepare them. But like, why fire the live rounds at the other ship?
Well, because they forgot, since they didn't switch the rounds, they thought they were still dummy rounds.
True.
But I feel like they should definitely be clearly marked, one as live and one as dummy. Because if you're in an actual fight and you shoot a dummy round at the enemy ship, that would be the equivalent of throwing a squeaky toy
Exactly.
at the bully who's trying to steal all of your lunch money.
Exactly.
The joke's on him. I'm poor. That's
But yeah. So for our last topic today, kind of a funny one to leave off with. If you've ever had a new bicycle, then apparently you've had an enemy general.
also,
And you will understand what that means in a moment.
since this is coming up, I feel like I should insert a little fact here. I cannot ride one of these.
You can't ride a bicycle?
No.
What? Really?
Yeah. I'm just lazy and I never really cared to learn.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Alright.
So I can't ride a bike.
Alright, but anyway, I will take this one over, guys. So here is the last story for this episode. Vietnam War colonel gets a surprise. During the Vietnam War, a group of American soldiers was dropped into Cambodia on a mission to locate an enemy supply base known to be in the area. A 5-day search uncovered nothing. Angry at the thought of having wasted 5 days, the team leader and his platoon expanded their search and came across a shiny red bicycle. As they were in a free fire zone, the team leader took the bicycle since it likely belonged to a Viet Cong scout. The platoon waited for hours for the scout to appear, but he didn't show up. Finally, the team leader took the bicycle and ordered an extraction. The radio dispatcher asked if the team had found the supply base, and the leader later replied, "No, but they were bringing back a new bicycle." The radio dispatcher was astounded and asked the team to hold position as air support would arrive in minutes. Sure enough, massive air support arrived. A colonel in a helicopter saw the bicycle and asked, "What on earth is that?" The team leader replied, "This is the new bicycle you wanted." As it turns out, the radio dispatcher was using an old code book in which new bicycle meant enemy general.
I feel like if you're going to operate the radio, your number one priority, maybe not number one, but at least pretty high up there, should be, make sure you have your codes up to date.
Yes, because, I mean, like, boy. Right, like,
Boy.
listen, boy. Okay, like, I just really?
Well, I mean, I have a few issues. Number one, they straight jacked some dude's bike.
True.
Like, that was his
True.
way to
I
and from the
mean-
base, and they just, like...
I mean, okay, like, at least at first he was like, okay, it's probably, you know, a guy's bike, we're gonna wait here for him.
Well, what?
So,
But they took it back to base.
Still, they did. He's like, dude, guess he didn't show up for like an hour, okay? And then there's that minute,
Well, no,
the
they-
guy was like an hour and like 5 minutes away on his walk, and he gets back, bike's gone.
They picked it up and they took it back to the base
Well, yeah.
and waited at the base
Yeah.
for like a few days.
Yeah, exactly.
So why not just leave it there?
Right?
Why do you have to take the bike?
Yeah. And then he's like, guys, calls in a full extraction for a bicycle.
Guys, I found a bike.
Right?
I don't know why he turned Australian.
AKA enemy general. But so guys, that's basically all we've got for this week's episode. I really hope you enjoyed our babbling back and forth and learned a thing or two about idiots in history. And it was a lot of fun. Next week, I believe we are doing the Bean Boozled Challenge with the Oil City Drum Majors. So that should be interesting.
Jake Meals.
And yeah, Jake Mills, Tyler Herron, Truman Littler, if any of...
Truman.
Yes, Truman, I got you.
Love you, bae.
Jake twice in one episode. That's 2 shout-outs to him in one episode.
You should feel special.
Shout out to Tyler Herr as well. So hope to see them on Fridays in Focus next week. And with that being said, as always, guys, stay focused.